Hello everyone and welcome back. Today I am bringing you Boruto Chapter 23, The Strong. And I know, 2 months late, better late than never, so let's dive on in. So we open up, we've got Jura on the cover, looking a bit pretentious, looking a bit, well, kind of a deserved it. You know, we know he's kind of flexing at the moment, we kind of have a gauge of how strong he is, so, you know, maybe he's earned that tough guy pose. So where we left off, Boruto jumped onto the battlefield, blitzed Matsuri, and now is facing off against Jura and has left an opening for Konohamaru to escape. Speaking of, we're going to see what happened at the what's his name? Mitsuki. Why did I forget Mitsuki's name? Mitsuki was left with a bunch of claw grimes that Jura presented, but as we can see, he just completely just blitzed them. As we'd expect from, you know, Sage Mode, it would be very disappointing if he didn't. But just then, he senses something. Konohamaru has made it to the other battlefield. So, relative safety? So they have a little discussion about the form bulbs. We kind of get a reveal about what's kind of been happening. Araya took Yodo's, well, we'll say body. She's not confirmed dead yet. Just Koji expected her to die, but Araya's gone off of her, and the Shinki form bulb, assumedly to bring him back. And obviously Konohamaru has the Matsuri Moegi form bulb. But, you know, they seem to brush it off. And I love that Mitsuki's got Sarada and a little fireman carry there. But here they discuss that the mission's not over. Mitsuki asks who Jura's target is, because obviously he doesn't realize Boruto blitzed, using Flying Thunder God onto the battlefield. So if he knew that, he would obviously know who Jura's target is. It's very obvious. So there's not really much to go over here. Konohamaru just kind of briefly goes over a little recap of what happened. You know, he almost got killed by Matsuri. Boruto saved him. And that Jura's shown up to probably kill Boruto, and that killing Boruto is a higher priority than reclaiming his comrades' form bulbs. As we see Mitsuki, too many M's. Mitsuki wants to go and back up Boruto to take Jura down, but they can't. We know they can't. They would just be in the way. They'll distract Boruto and make it more difficult. They don't have the combined power to take down Jura, so it would be pointless. And Konohamaru even pushes him back, and he's going to stick to the plan Boruto placed on him to escape while Boruto holds his attention. It seems after all the deriding I gave Konohamaru the last chapter I discussed, he has actually clocked that Boruto appears to have a plan and instructs Mitsuki to follow his directions. And at the bottom here, I love these cool little standoffs. So we've just got a little standoff between Boruto and Jura as they are ready to begin their fight. And I don't know why I said begin their fight. Resume their fight. They were already fighting. This is a resumption. And Boruto is already struggling though. We know he had the disadvantage. Jura had the upper hand. He took an intentional wound to get a strong strike on Jura, but as he says here, the wound is deeper and there's more damage than he expected. And perhaps seeing a moment of distraction on Boruto's part, Jura doesn't let up and fires a Biju bomb at him. A mini Biju bomb, I think they call it. But as we see, Boruto has successfully evaded. He leapt away and is holding onto the cliff edge here. And we see that Jura laments the Biju bomb's biggest drawback, that his preparatory moves, which seems to be the whole focusing of his eye, gives away what he's planning to do, giving Boruto plenty of time to react and evade. So he starts pondering if long-range sniping or close-range bombs are the best way to deal with Boruto as he starts to levitate. Obviously, we can tell by the way he's speaking, the way that he's still his hands in his pockets. He's very nonchalant. He's very unfussed. Even though Boruto landed some good hits, we know Jura's powerful, and he's obviously not being serious yet. So Jura propels himself towards Boruto and fires another Biju bomb, which, again, Boruto successfully evades. So it's not clear here, but Jura fires 2 more Biju bombs at Boruto, and judging by the second panel, they either miss or they might be tracking, but you can tell that Boruto kind of changes direction. He swerves and hurls a kunai at Jura. What does it mean? It means that Boruto used a shadow clone and the transformation jutsu. The clone threw the kunai, which was a transformed Boruto, who turns back and draws his katana. But Jura seems to react in time and block it, causing Boruto to seemingly drop the katana. Successfully disarming Boruto, Jura goes for the kill with his claw grime covered finger. But just then Boruto uses the hand sign for Flying Thunder God and teleports to the katana that has dropped and is now below Jura, seemingly ready to launch a surprise attack. Jura appears to notice the reappearance of Boruto, but not quickly enough, as Boruto successfully cuts off Jura's leg in a deft stroke. And this is where Boruto's like, his genius, his prodigy comes through. It's such a great move, especially when he's up against a vastly superior opponent. But despite losing his leg, Jura seems utterly unfazed and compliments Boruto for his great move, and they exchange some blows at the bottom here, continuing the fight despite Jura's handicap, I guess. Clearly, Jura appears now to be overpowering Boruto in their exchange of blows. Boruto's definitely on the back foot, and as we see here, Jura successfully grabs Boruto. Boruto lamenting that he's outmatched strength-wise. He cannot break free, so Jura begins to charge up a point-blank Biju bomb that Boruto will be unable to evade. Is this the end for Boruto? No, it is not the end, and these are the panels we saw in the preview. Boruto cleverly uses the contact to his advantage. We see him weave a hand sign and activate purple lightning, the contact allowing him to force the lightning through Jura, who seems to have sustained quite a bit of damage there. This allows Boruto to break free of Jura's grip, but perhaps I spoke too soon, because Jura mocks Boruto for becoming quite sluggish. It's always funny when he calls him Otsutsuki Boruto. So it appears Jura is still in his unfazed phase, but Boruto is definitely looking like he's breathing heavily. Jura here just concludes it might be faster to clobber Boruto to death rather than trying to hit him with his Biju bombs that he's frankly been spamming, and Boruto just looks on stoically, sternly, but he is certainly coming to the end of his rope. And before we can see that, we are changing scenes. We are going to see what Mitsuki and Konohamaru are up to. They've made it to the rendezvous point that Boruto mentioned to Mitsuki, to Konohamaru. But enough of that, we're going back to Jura and Boruto, and Jura just leaps forward, kneeing Boruto in the chin. Looks painful. Continuing his one-sided assault, Jura then follows this up with a harsh punch to the gut, which sends Boruto crashing to the ground. Jura then leaps away and charges up another Biju bomb, And as we see at the bottom, a massive Biju bomb. Is that it for Boruto? Obviously not, because the series is called Boruto, but let's see how he got out of this one. So it turns out Boruto successfully leapt away from the explosion as the dust clears, but before he can be declared safe, Jura appears behind Boruto. Boruto manages to react in time and block Jura's strike with his katana, but in the process we see that the katana gets nicked, which obviously upsets Boruto, as we can see from his expression. It's very precious to him. It's Sasuke's katana, and we see Jura is readying another attack. Jura delivers a hard kick to Boruto, who is again sent flying, crashing to the ground, and he is just laid flat out. So at this point, we see Boruto is not getting up, his eyes are closed, he appears to be defeated and unconscious. And at that point, we shift scenes to Ida, who is watching the fight with her clairvoyance, and Koji, who appears to be in utter distress. Obviously, he needs Boruto to survive, to avoid a terrible, terrible future, the Earth's destruction. So, understandable, I guess. But is it distress? So it turns out that when Ida was trying to speak to Koji, he wasn't actually in distress, but he's actually getting an update through his ability that I've forgotten the name of, but his future-seeing ability. And I think this is the first time we see it in action as well. We've just been told how it works before. And as we see here, it might be Ida's first time seeing it too. And his eyes roll back into his head, look kind of gross. So first up, we see a cloaked, hooded figure. Could be anyone. Could even be Koji himself, because that outfit resembles Koji's. But then we see the first set of images. We've got Jura holding his eye. We've got Himawari. We've got Boruto. We've got Inojin. Hang on, is that Inojin or is that Garo in his stupid dorky haircut? Either way, and obviously that one at the top was actually Koji looking at the film reel part of his ability. So yeah, the hooded figure, that was just Koji. But Koji obviously focuses on the most important part, and that is Jura holding his right eye and the unconscious Boruto. There's only a little clip of that, but he seems shocked. He says, "No way." So he obviously sees something big. But as we see at the bottom here, he's still having his premonition or whatever. Ida wants to know what's going on. I don't know if he can respond at this point. But we're not going to find out the end results of this premonition as we jump back to Jura versus Boruto. And Jura is standing over the unconscious Boruto. He pays him respect for still being alive and valiantly holding on to his master's katana to the very end. Jura propels himself into the air and prepares the final blow, deciding, out of respect for Boruto, to finish him off in one strike, while Boruto lays there helplessly. But before he can land the blow, he is impaled through his right eye. We find out what probably caused him to be holding his right eye. He is impaled through the right eye with a familiar looking black rod, and of course, on the next page we find out it is Kawaki. Kawaki has arrived with a great entrance, standing on Jura's back, impaling him through the back of the head, through the eye. What an entrance. After so many L's, looks like Kawaki's getting a W of his own. Talking of great poses, is this not a great shot of Kawaki just standing on top of Jura, his pole impaling him, and just saying, "Oh wow, this isn't enough to kill you, you really are a monster." I guess Shinju wouldn't have organs, no brain, well, however they work. That would kill a normal person. The Shinju are not normal people. So Ida resumes watching the fight and sees Kawaki enter the battlefield. Just then, Koji's omniscience, he reveals the name. I forgot the name. Thank you for revealing it, Koji. His omniscience period ends. It's the first update in about 6 days. And the last images we see, They're very small, so apologies if I miss anything or make any mistakes, but it's clearly Jura standing by some sort of tree. We've got next to each other Sarada and Hidari. I forgot his name. Hidari. Hidari appears to be doing the Sasuke forehead flick thingy-mabobbity, maybe. He's definitely reaching out. And then at the top, we've got what looks like the top of Damon's head and Mamushi. So Mamushi might be acting soon as well. And obviously his target is Ida. And Damon would definitely defend Ida. So that would be interesting. There's some more over Koji's shoulders. I think one of them is Konohamaru, but it's not very clear. So apparently Kawaki's involvement in a Jura fight was something Koji never saw in his original Omniscience. Also, I'd point out that he got an Omniscience update for the first time in 6 days. So we know he has no control over the Omniscience. So it makes me wonder how easy it is to change the futures, especially considering Koji can't readily view them. But there you go. This is a new future. This is a new branch of the timeline, I suppose, where Kawaki gets involved in a hypothetical fight between Jura and Boruto. So new outcomes abound, and as we see, Koji realizes this is something Boruto planned, something he put into action, and rather than dwell on that, we're going to see Kawaki and Konohamaru and Mitsuki have a little conversation. Mitsuki seems to be pondering something here. So Mitsuki's pondering why Boruto picked this location, that maybe one of his metal symbols will be around, and Konohamaru, retorts that, for translocation, obviously. and just on cue, Delta shows up, and I don't know, is Delta like one of is Delta like one of Kishimoto's favorites or something? Because we get a full shot of Delta here, complimenting Konohamaru, Mitsuki, and Sarada for being in one piece. Now, I pondered if we'd see this, but yes, we are not going to dwell on what they're doing, and we're going to see the start of the Jura Kawaki fight. And it's going to be the start because we're very near the end of the chapter. So, we resume with Kawaki standing on Jura's back, and Jura reaches out to launch an attack, but Kawaki, with his limiters removed or modified, or whatever you want to call them, adjusted, easily evades. Kawaki reappears behind Jura, and before he can react, he assaults him with a bunch of black rods, very much in the Ishiki style of fighting. Jura breaks free of the black rods and charges a Biju bomb, which he fires at Kawaki, who just nonchalantly glances towards Jura. The Biju bomb makes contact with the ground, setting off a massive explosion as you'd expect. But as we see here, interestingly, that the explosion itself and the dust and whatever appears to wake Boruto. So Kawaki lands next to Boruto, and they have one of their standard, I won't call it an argument, but, where they insult each other, hey, dumb bro, wake up already. Gah, you're the one who's late, jerk. Standard Boruto and Kawaki stuff. And Jura seems to have acknowledged and recognized the unexpected increase in strength in Kawaki. Kawaki warns Boruto to hold it together, because if he runs amok, he'll kill him on the spot as he activates Karma. And we know that when Kawaki activates Karma or Boruto activates Karma, each other's Karma resonates and activates. Boruto, holding his arm with the Karma on it, knows he needs to hold it together, and tells Kawaki just to ignore him and do it. Because as Jura charges in, we end with a cool shot of Karma Kawaki standing there ready to fight. And end of chapter. All in all, as always, great chapter. I've already read the next chapter, as you may have already realised by things I've been saying. But it'll be cool to reread that one again and catch up. It was really cool going into this, wondering if what would the answer here? How we're going to find out how Kawaki scales to Jura. I didn't think Kawaki versus Jura would be the end of this whole Shinju arc. But I'll cover that in the next chapter. Hope to get that one recorded and uploaded tomorrow. I'm kind of skipping the gym in the morning, so I've got more time to get these videos done because I want to catch up because I've got 2 One Piece videos to do as well. But it was great to cover that. I hope you guys enjoyed my thoughts, my review. If you've got any comments, anything you loved about that chapter, let me know. I always love to hear them. And as always, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next chapter. Bye.